Welcome to O People of the Book YouTube channel.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله
O People of the Book YouTube channel.
نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم هيا قصائد سائلي قلب النوى ليس الشبم هيا قصائد سائلي قلب النوى ليس الشبم
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and I hope everything's okay for you. I'm just finishing the weekend today and back to work tomorrow for me, and hope everyone's okay. For those of you who are tuning in now, you're watching O People of the Book, and you're watching us on O People of the Book, and also you're watching us on, what do you call that channel now? I've even forgotten the channel that I'm with. Anyway, John. Anyway, our usual Saturday show on what's her name? From Monogamy to Polygamy. My mind just went there. I just forgot the channel that I was on. Actually, yeah. Just thinking about something else. Anyway, so our usual from monogamy to polygyny. This is basically to help our brothers and sisters who are trying to learn about polygyny. There's like I keep saying, there's a crisis going on around the world at the moment, and we have to do something about it, and whoever can help in any way to solve this problem. Our sisters are getting divorced left, right, and center, and there's a lot of what's her name as well. Yeah, consider this TV network. I forgot, it just didn't cross my mind. You're watching me on O People of the Book, and consider this TV network. It's a network of channels that you have. Please subscribe, like, and share, for all of us, and then share this with your friends, so people who want to learn about polygyny, and people who are maybe going into polygyny and maybe not sure about things. This is not anything to this is not a show to kind of hit anybody or attack anybody or whatever. I'm a student of knowledge, and I'm using my skills, my knowledge in Islam to kind of help my brothers and sisters, and to basically make things easy, because we are, like I keep saying, we are in a crisis. We have a lot of the rate of divorce have shot up, and we have a lot of widows around the world as well. So what to do with our sisters? What to do with these sisters who fall in this situation? So basically, I do this show every week, and I share resources as well with you, and whatever resources I can come up with. Now this week, the resources I'm who to whether a man needs permission from his wife to actually take a second wife. Now, this man has been working all his life. He's the head of the household. He's your protector, your provider. He's never had to ask for permission for anything. But now when he wants to take a decision in his life, he has to ask his wife's permission. Usually, as I explain to the sisters, because they come in with emotions, and I explain to them the facts, the Quran, Hadith, and everything. Allah has given permission. He has to just, I think in last week's session, I think the last week or the week before, where we watched Sheikh Khalid Yasin, and he mentioned that, no, we don't need to ask permission as long as we tell the wife. Yeah. So this video, again from Coach Nadir and his wife, Coach Fatima. I like these people. The work that they're doing. If you go to their YouTube and give them a like, and also join their website as well, and let's just see what they have to say. I mean, there are people who are actually in the situation itself. They've been in it for a long time, and they have experience. They're coaches themselves as well. I'm only training to be a coach. I'm only training to be a marriage counselor at the moment. I'm still in training, but hopefully one day I will make it there. So I'm sharing this with you. So I hope you can learn something from it. For those of you who are trying to learn about polygyny, so it's called "Who's in Charge in Polygyny." Yeah, and by Sheikh Nadir and his wife, Sheikh, sorry, not Sheikh, but Coach Nadir and Coach Fatima, his wife. Let's see what they have to say about asking for permission, whether we need permission or not. So let's share this. Okay. Okay, right. Okay, so we got this now, and we're going to put it on full screen. I'm going to put it on full screen. Okay, so yeah. So anyway, let's go with this now.
Look for the man to be a leader and to lead the family and to be the head of the family. But yet this leader, this head of the family, the one that's supposed to paint the vision and move things forward, has to seek permission from her for an expansion. That's problematic.
Warning, viewer discretion is advised. The content, viewed as an educational material you are about to experience, could challenge your belief, trigger strong emotions, and frankly, piss you off. This isn't for everyone. If you're not ready to confront new ideas, or if your feelings bruise easily, this might be the time to click away. Expect to be challenged, to think, and you might at the screen. Proceed with caution, and remember, you chose to be here. Let's get it.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, so before we go any further, his YouTube is outstanding personal relationships, and I'd ask you to, at the same time giving me a subscribe, you give him a subscribe as well. You can learn a lot from him as well if you're learning from me, and I'm broadcasting his work, so you will learn a lot from him as well. And they have a book that last week or the week before I spoke about it. I bought it from Kindle. They will speak about it as well. It's if you're learning, then it's good you get that book as well. Anyway, this is going to be talking about who's in charge in polygyny, and whether the husband has to take permission. And like he said, you might not like what you hear from this. You might not be happy of this, but this is fact. This is from the Quran and Sunnah, and the man does not need permission. But let's go.
Here.
And I'm his wife, Coach Fatima, one of the two.
Indeed. Of course, we are two of the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as two of the three authors of the book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. If you don't have your copy, get it now.
Okay, so their book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored, like I said before, the brother mentions it as well. In general terms, we use the word polygamy, but we are dealing with polygyny. We are dealing with polygyny, where the man is allowed to have multiple wives, and where we don't deal with polyamory, where there's plenty of lovers only, not wives or whatever, and polyandry. Polyandry is where a woman is allowed to have several husbands. In Islam, we don't deal with that. We don't do that. So, like, we deal with polygyny. But the general term, that's why the brother uses the general term there. So let's carry on.
With that being said, today's video, we're going to discuss something that we get, or Coach Fatima and whatnot, women tend to talk about all the time. I know they've asked you about it on different coaching calls and different things like that. So let's get to it. What is it?
This, I'm sorry, I have to smile, and oftentimes I laugh at this one. It's, did Coach Nadir get my permission to marry her? Does my husband, he must get my permission to marry again. And if he doesn't.
Okay, this is a burning subject here. In every group that I'm in, 100 times different sisters will come in and, does my husband need to seek permission or whatever? And like, he didn't seek permission from me. No, sister, he doesn't need to seek permission from you. And let's see what this sister has, how she's going to explain. He will be in a better position to explain why. But let's go.
Then it don't count. And this is, although I joke, a very serious thing to hurl, say, believe that our husbands must.
Okay, that's another thing as well. Yeah, there is an issue called must that the sisters keep emphasizing. Today we had a discussion on Clubhouse in a group in a subject that was calling that was talking about polygyny, and there seemed to be this misunderstanding of the word. The man should tell his wife, and the man must. It's farda'in on him to tell his wife. There seemed to be a disconnect with that. We kept telling the people who were on the platform, Muslims and everything, we're talking about it, that yes, the man should tell his wife out of goodness or whatever. Yeah, and they were understanding that, like, they were looking for, it has to be a must. No, it is not a must. And then when we came to the conclusion that there is no must in telling her, then we were told that we were encouraging lying to the wife, not telling her. No, you don't ask her permission. Okay, a permission is not needed, but you still have to be like Sheikh Khalid Yassin said a couple of weeks ago, or last week, I can't remember which session it was. You should. There is a difference here in the English language. There is a difference between should and must, and we need to know when to use what, especially when we're talking about our fiqh and stuff like that. Yeah. So anyway, we'll carry on.
Please don't scroll. Listen to me. My name is Hiba from
Adverts.
The destruction that this specific belief system can have behind those statements, or those different things that women can say to their husbands, or hurl at their husbands, or I don't know. It becomes hurtful, because they'll ask me, well, did he get your permission to marry again, like he's my child? And I said, so if he gets my permission, should he go get his mother's permission, his daughter's permission, friends' permission?
That's another good point as well. I mean, his mother is older than him. His mother is the one who gave birth to him. Should he go and ask his mother's permission before he takes a second wife? I mean, some people might do. Some people might talk about it, with the family, but not ask permission. Can I please? It doesn't go. It doesn't go that way. And he's not a child. He's a grown man who's taking his own decisions. And at the same time, he's the leader. He's the leader in the household. Sheikh Nadir will come to that as well. You want a leader in your household. You want somebody who's a leader. But when the decision is going to be taken, you're the one who wears the trousers. So yeah.
Permission, all these other people's permission, as a grown man. As a grown man, we're all adults, but as a grown man, how appropriate would it be for him to come to me and get my permission for him to create or marry again another wife?
Who coaches hundreds and I don't know how many hundreds of people daily or monthly or weekly or whatever. I don't know. But this is coming from a coach now. Now the thing that she's saying on this, she's saying that to them as well. People who are, entering into polygamous situations and whatever, and they go and visit her. They go and visit her husband as well, or whatever. This is the same answer they're giving there. You don't need, the man doesn't need permission. But like I keep mentioning, he should tell her, not hide it from her. No, don't make a secret or whatever. But he should tell her.
How appropriate is that? In no other arena of your life.
Well, I mean, people are saying, they're responding, how appropriate this question need to do that. It's very appropriate. That's what
No. Conversations, yes, absolutely. Having a discussion about it, trying to figure out what we're going to do, what he wants to do. Because I'm not marrying another wife. I don't practice that. However, it becomes inappropriate to say, you must get my permission as your wife, and then I'll give you the green light so that you may marry again. You don't need my permission for anything else but this.
Okay, did you get that? Yeah, it's clear. Yeah, I hope that, a lot of these sisters, maybe those who are watching, or those who can take the message and then pass it on to others, or those who can actually invite others to my channel, come and subscribe. That it's not coming from me. It's not, out of spite. It's not coming from the men trying to be macho or whatever. The sisters themselves, sisters who are in the know, sisters who have experience and who are dealing with this every day, know very well, and they are saying that you don't need permission. You're a grown man and you're the leader of the pack now. Does a lion go and ask his lioness what decision he needs to take? No, because he's the one who's ready to take a bullet for her. If anything happens, somebody breaks into your house or whatever, who's going to go and answer the door? Who's going to go and protect the family? The husband. He's the one who's ready to take the bullet for his family. So does he have to ask permission from his wife? See, logically speaking, think about it this way: put emotions aside, and think of it logically, because we know that most of the sisters would not grant the permission anyway. If you had the choice, you would not grant the permission. Yeah, some sisters might do, but some might not. So, what is the point then in saying that he needs to get my permission? When other things in his life, if he wants to travel somewhere, or if he wants to, maybe he's got the money, he wants to buy another car or something like that. Does he need permission? No, he'll come up and tell you, look, I'm thinking of buying another car or something I've already made this the decision. I'm the one who's made the decision. I don't need to ask you. Yeah. So we need to understand that in context.
Just so we're clear, is what I hear when people ask me that. This question has been asked to me specifically, so I wanted to address it publicly, and I've done it more than one time, but I don't know if I've done it with Coach Nadir right beside me, but I thought it was important, and he already knows that we talk about it in our book, Let's Talk Polygamy, Uncensored. And where can they get that? Because I'm like, where can I get my book?
Let's talk polygamy.com.
Yes.
But I want to chime in here though too, because there's a big difference in having discussions and having conversations about it. Those are best practices. All right, now getting permission.
Okay, you got it? Yeah. There's a difference between having a conversation about it. If a man wants to take another wife, he should already be in conversation with his wife. He should already start talking to her about it. Not taking her permission. There's a totally different thing here. Yeah, asking her permission and telling her, what? There's this sister there, so and so, and she's probably either a divorcee or she's a widow or whatever, and I've decided I've decided. not you. I've decided I'm going to do nikah with her. Fine, you've told her. Okay, you've decided. Yeah. Now, many times it is advised not to tell her in advance, not to tell her before. If you know that she's going to rebel, if you know that she's going to fight, then what is the point of telling her? Because you know she's not gonna accept it. But the conversation needs to take place. Okay, the best having a conversation is best practice. Okay,
What's important about that thought is it shows how ingrained and socially conditioned men have become to the point of being weak.
Yep.
Okay, that's another thing I keep mentioning about. Yeah, today our men have become very weak, emasculated basically by the society. By even women have the what do you call it? Feminist movement has contributed as well to make the man weak. So he has to turn to his wife now and ask permission. Can I do this? Can I do that? No, he is the leader. He's the leader of the pack. He is the one. You chose him. Okay, as a wife, you chose him to be the leader. The leader. You chose him to be your protector. You chose him to be the provider. Yeah. So if you don't let him play his role, well, what's the point then? You might as well, be the provider, the protector, the leader yourself. And I think this is what's happening. The gender role switch. Yeah. The gender roles have been switched. That the man is weak and he needs permission from his wife, and this is what's happening nowadays. So there you go.
And if women look for the men to be a leader and to lead the family and to be the head of the family, but yet this leader, this head of the family, the one that's supposed to paint the vision and move things forward, has to seek permission from her for an expansion, that's problematic.
Okay, that's another good thing he mentions, an expansion. When you look at polygyny, okay, you're expanding your family here. Okay, this is why we have to be careful as well, the sister that we bring into the family, her reputation, her we have to do all our homework, but then you're expanding your family here. You can bring a sister maybe who doesn't have children or who does have children, and you can end up multiplying by yourself, if you're a man who can give children or whatever. So you're making an expansion. This is a decision that you take. Okay, you take that decision. Nobody else is going to take that decision for you. You're the one who's going to work extra. You're the one who's going to earn extra money. You're the one who is going to stand in front of Allah and answer in front of Allah for whatever injustice you have done. You see, so I hope this like I said, I'm not bashing anybody here. I'm not kind of taking anybody's side. I'm doing this mainly to educate. This is an education, and brother coach Nadir as well. He always mentions his job here is to educate our brothers and sisters, and I'm doing the same thing as well. So I hope that you can understand that it's not coming from me.
That undercuts them. That's something that is commonplace in thoughts, because men have become so weak and so pacified. All right, where you want to appease so much so and looking for this type of stuff, and it makes you weak. It's not something, one, that's an attractive quality. However, having conversations about it, letting you know where you stand, being
okay. Don't go to the other extreme now and says that the man wants to be macho, or he has to be macho. That's nothing to do with macho here, right? This is the leader of the pack. Okay, the leader of the pack. Your children, or whatever. You're a pack. You're a shepherd. Yeah, Allah SWT has given us the responsibility for our flock. Yeah, we'll be answering for our flock. Yeah, so obviously he's the leader, and you have to let him play his role as the leader.
Open about it, starting a dialogue and what have you. All of these things are important.
Right.
But me coming to seek permission is not something that is a masculine trait to begin with.
That's right.
All right, and that's
exactly. A lot of women, when I talk to them, you ask them what do they want in a man? A lot of them mention that they want the masculinity. A lot of sisters when I'm watching their shows and everything, they say that a man being masculine brings a femininity out of them. Okay, so if the man himself is not masculine, how are you going to bring that femininity out of the wife who you're married? So. I don't know. I don't know how much more. Anyway, but seeking permission is not a masculine trait. You're a man. You're the leader of the pack. You consult. You consult your family. You mention this. I've decided to do this. I've decided to do that. You see that garden there. I want to put a shed in the back. I want to extend the house. I want to extend the kitchen or whatever. You're taking this the decision. You're paying for it. Okay, you're taking that decision. So you don't have to ask. Oh, can I put a shed in the back garden? Or can I extend there's a lot of space, a lot of grass outside, and I think I want to put a room in there. Can I do that? No. Otherwise, you're not. This is not the masculine trait that you're asking permission for. Same thing with polygyny.
That's not how it was demonstrated by the Prophet ﷺ either. Now, on the flip side, of course, the conversations are important. You should be proactive instead of reactive. You should demonstrate some courage with it, because we're in such a society that not only is it needed, all right, not only is it the moral and honorable way to go about expanding your family and so on, but that speaks to you and your manhood. All right. So I could confidently say, Miss Wife who thinks that, oh, my husband don't want nobody else, that he does.
I agree with that.
All right, that does, because we're polygamous by nature. Now, if it's advantageous for
another thing again that I keep repeating over and over and over again. Yeah, we are built differently. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us differently, and He made man polygynous by nature. There's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it. A man, when he reaches a certain age, he's got money in his pocket. He's building up a business. He's kind of doing well for himself. He wants to increase. He wants to do more. He wants to have more. And I think Coach, what's her name, Nadir, mentioned that in a couple of shows that I broadcasted a few weeks ago, about how a man wants to increase. Yeah. So. Anyway, let's get back.
For him to tell you that, or allow you to believe whatever you want to believe, that's to be determined. All right, now whether or not he wants to go and actively participate, feel like maybe not. And maybe the circumstances and his personal situation, whether it be age or funds or, headache. I've gotten that too. Men love women. They like, look, I got a wife that's such a doggone headache, I can't imagine having two.
Okay, that's another good thing as well. Most of my friends who I talk about them polygyny to, they say to me, "One is a headache. You want me to take another?" That's very sad, actually. Why should your wife be a headache for you? The Quran tells us that we are comfort for each other. Yeah, we are like malabis, libas, for each other. We comfort one another. Now, if that wife turns out to be a headache, I don't know. Maybe she does it deliberately, so the brother doesn't want to take another headache. Halas, I've got one headache. I don't want to take another one. A wife should not be a headache for her husband. She should be what's the word I'm looking for? The happiness, the joy when he looks at her. There's a hadith, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he says that if a man looks at his wife with a smile, the angels are happy with her. Yeah. Allah's happy with her, and the angels are happy with her. And the angels go around and tell the people, be happy with this man because Allah loves him. This is just for seeing your wife and smiling at her. Now, if she's a headache, one wife is a headache, then It's very sad. It's very sad that we have to come to this stage. A wife who's nagging all the time. A wife who's like, not satisfied with anything you do. You go to work in the morning, she's nagging. She's calling you at work, nagging, and coming back from work, she's nagging all the time. It shouldn't be like that, yeah.
But that doesn't mean there's more than one wife. If that wife was not a headache. All right, so let's not mistake that, because we get that all the time. My husband only want one. He told.
That's another thing as well. Now, deep down in that man's heart, he does want another wife. But because his wife is a headache, so he's now thinking, oh, no, I'm not going to take another headache. If his wife was not a headache, then yes, he would have thought, oh, women are very good. My wife is very good. She's very good to me, and I've reached the stage where I want to take another wife. Now, like I said, I don't know whether it's deliberate or not. We used to joke among friends, because when boys talk, they don't talk politics, as they say in English. Yeah? When we talk about them, polygyny and stuff like that, And we mentioned one time as a joke that when you get married, the wife feeds you, so you get fat. When you get fat, no other woman would like you. So obviously, it's a joke kind of thing, that used to go around. So, in order for her to keep you for herself, she kind of makes a contract with the kitchen and ends up feeding you all sorts of food and everything, and you're happy. You're there, food coming here, there, and everywhere, and you turn out big and bloated and everything, and no other woman is interested in you. So that as well might be deliberate. I don't know. We usually joke about that. I'm not saying that they do it on purpose with them. There you go.
Told me, yeah, of course he told you that, because that's the thing you're supposed to tell her, especially when you can't do it and you're not qualified to be doing it. But being able to have these conversations, understand how your man is set up to begin with, is very important, because now what we're talking about is leadership versus not. So the question also that comes to me sometime is, well, how do you handle decisions? Is it a 50-50 thing? So now in some things, it can be 50-50. You can advise, can have input on something maybe it's what's for dinner, and my vote count with her vote, or maybe not, because I'm not making the dinner.
Yeah, usually my wife asks me this question, what's for dinner? So I don't know. You're the one cooking. So no, she said to me, but I want your opinion. I said, I don't know. You see what you want to cook. Now, the days when I cook, because I'm a very good cook, I'm a very good chef. I've got diplomas in cooking and everything. Then if she asks me what's for dinner, then I'll tell her. I'll tell her what I have in my mind to cook. So then it becomes a 50-50 decision. But otherwise, you're the one doing the cooking, and then you take that the decision.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to larger decisions, any wise man is going to seek the counsel.
Yeah, when it comes to larger decisions, he's saying, then obviously it's the man's decision.
Of his family, his inside circle, especially his wife, right? Mm-hmm. If she's on the same page and as supporting his vision, then that's important to know. But ultimately, just like the CEO of a company, you still have to make that decision as the leader, as that head.
Don't risk losing the photos and videos from your phone. This innovative device makes it easy to back up your smartphone in seconds.
Right.
So seeking the permission is something totally different than consulting, speaking with, getting feedback.
Okay, and so they're again making that distinction between seeking permission and talking about it. Yeah, and having a conversation. It's a big difference here, and I hope that our sisters and even our brothers who have, become so weak that they have to crawl down and ask permission, and they would not do it, although in their hearts they want to do it badly. But no, I need permission from the Minister of Internal Affairs. If she doesn't give permission, then I can't do it. But Allah has given you permission already. You just have to know how to have a conversation several years before, even several years before, take the permission kind of thing. Yeah, have the conversation
for or against whatever somebody else may.
By the way, I like the suit that he's wearing. I think this is a karate suit, actually. They have it in black, and this is called a kung fu suit. Yeah, they have it in black and in white as well. I used to have one of them, and maybe that's what it is. I don't know. It's not a thobe. It doesn't look like a thobe, but like alhamdulillah, mashallah, is a very nice top he's wearing there.
They say, because you still have to decide what's the best action moving forward, even if someone else doesn't think it's the best.
Oh, I like that Coach Nadir said that he would go out of town. So there's everybody, the women in this family know this is a rule. And one time I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to go to Chicago, and he was on the other side of the world. And I was like, he gonna say no. He ain't going. And I asked, and he was like, nope, I'm out of the country. Now, I said, well, it's close to where we live. However, it's far enough, and he couldn't get to me. And people would say, well, I just would have went. I said, no. That's not how I operate. I'm entrusted.
The other thing is, in Islam, we know that a woman should not leave her house without the permission of her husband. Okay, she needs his permission. He doesn't need her permission to leave the house. She needs his permission. So who's the leader there? Him. Yeah, he's the leader, and he's the one who takes the decisions. And like she explained, he left there. He was out of the country, and she needed his permission to go somewhere. And he said no. So it's clear. If for that she needs his permission, why should he then have her permission to bring another extension in the family?
Trust. So he's responsible for my safety, and he can't do his job and protect me if he doesn't know where I am. And it's not my job to undermine him while he's on the other side of the world, because that's how you operate. Now, in many cases, people say, well, you two are the monster. You all started this whole, we didn't start polygyny. We wrote books and did trainings and we coached about it. However, they get mad and say, you're the monster and you're the one leading the charge on this. And the minute it's going to rub off on them. And then they get surprised when we say, okay, we're the monster, but don't get mad if you're the clown on our side of the story. Because we didn't create it. We're just trying to help everyone see a different perspective. So if he's responsible for my safety and I'm undermining that, then that's a problem in the marriage. So I can't let somebody out.
Okay. Again, she mentions it, and let's go through it again. If he's responsible for your safety, okay, he's the one who's willing to take a bullet for you. But when he takes another wife, he has to come and get your permission. Think about it. Yeah, he's the one who's in charge of your safety. He has to be sure that he protects you. Anything goes wrong, you're ill, he has to look after you. Yeah, but when time comes for him to have another wife or whatever, he has to come running to you and ask for permission. Not logical, is it? Yeah.
Outside of the marriage, dictate to me that I should be running where I go and when I come and all this stuff. And he needs to just bow down to that. That's an issue. And you spoke about things being unattractive. I would have found it. Now I'm answering this for myself and for other people that need clarity. I would have found it incredibly unattractive had he, if we could go back in time, came to me and said, I need your permission to marry again. I can't even get it out with a straight face.
Okay, right. It is very unattractive to women. I don't know why women then. If this makes a man very unattractive to you, okay, that he has to come running to you for permission. Well, why do you insist that he has to ask your permission to take another wife? You see what I'm trying to say here, yeah? This is one of the traits that women find attractive in a man. His leadership, his power. He's like, he's there to protect you. He's like, that masculinity. Yeah, that is what is attractive to a woman. Attractive from the man to the woman. And now he's going to come running to you. you're straight away, you're not gonna find him attractive. You're gonna think, oh, this man is weak. He's very weak. But for this case, you want him to come running to you and ask for permission. I know it involves you. It does involve you, and you have a say in it. But he doesn't need to come and ask for your permission. You see, we have to not confuse permission and informing. These are two different things. Like today, like I said, the discussion that I had today, we kept on saying that we are not telling the people to lie to their wives. You don't hide it from them. You don't go and take another wife secretly or whatever, and don't tell the wife. No, but you don't need her permission. You tell her. You can tell her even afterwards. Even after you've done the deed, if she's not going to accept in the beginning, she's not going to accept it. She's going to rebel. She's going to cause a lot of problems. Right, fine, do it and tell her. You are the leader. So you do it.
Because I'm not built like that. Having a discussion, yes, but coming to me, and I'm a woman. I didn't get married to a man for him to act like a woman.
Exactly. She didn't marry a man for him to act like a woman. So if he's going to come to you and ask you for permission, then he's acting like a woman. You need permission from him. You need permission from him to leave the house, to travel or whatever. So doesn't it make him unattractive if he's going to come to you and ask for permission?
That's not what I like. That's not what's attractive to me. And he didn't get married to me so that I sit up and act like a man.
At all.
I get paid $25 an hour working from home just to answer messages on my cell phone. That's right. Just use.
See? But then when it comes to polygyny, I want you to be the woman, and I want you to come to me and get all this permission and let me treat you like a child, but act like a man in all these other areas.
See what I mean? Yeah, we've been going through this. So for everything else, what goes around, from the time of the marriage, big decisions that is taken, no problem. Yeah, the man has plays a leader's role in there. But when it comes to polygyny, he has to come to you and seek permission. This is coming from a sister here, right? And this is why I pick these resources to share with you, because sometimes coming from me, it might seem that this guy is saying this as a man, as a trying to be macho or whatever. He's saying this, and then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba, when they went in battle. Yeah, they didn't ask their wives permission. Oh, I'm going in battle now, and when I come back, can I get a wife? Or can I take a wife when I come back? No, they went into battle, and then when there was the victory, they won the battle, and the men got killed. The women were there. They took them as wives. Didn't have to ask. Prophet ﷺ turned up there with another wife. Didn't have to send a message or whatever, send a messenger to Aisha radiallahu anha and all the other wives and everything. Oh, can I get there's some booty here, that's left, all their husbands have died or whatever, and do you give me permission to? No, that's not the way it was. Yeah. So why do you expect now that the husband, before he takes that decision, specifically that decision, he has to come and ask you for it?
I want you to do that. No, how can a man sit with that and be like, oh, I'm cool with that?
And it's not like men don't understand the concerns. You understand the concerns. You have a family.
Right.
You've grown that and all that kind of stuff. There's emotions and everything that are involved. We're just talking about the crux of dealing with whether or not there's permission and who's leading the family. That doesn't mean you be a tyrant. You don't take concern, hence the consulting and speaking with and having discussions. But if you're not willing to have discussions or willing to listen, don't be surprised that maybe some decisions are made because the person felt this was the best route to go at the time. Even though, again, we don't suggest doing it that route. We suggest what best practices are. Being a mature adult, being able to have a conversation, actively listen, controlling your emotions, discuss some plans and visions, some pros, some cons, and make a decision.
Right. I'd like to remind you that you're watching O People of the Book. You're watching us also on Consider This TV network, which I'm back on. And please subscribe, like, and share. Subscribe my channel. yeah, or people of the book, and also can consider this TV network. If you haven't liked and shared the brothers who are on there, they have some very good work that they are doing as well, especially brother Muhammad from Coventry FF, Coventry Faith Foundation. Give him a like as well. He's doing a lot of good works, and also the brothers and sisters that I'm taking this resource from, which is outstanding personal relationships. Yeah, go to their YouTube, give them a like, give them a subscribe, a like, and also learn from them, because they've got some very good material. Yeah, and also they have a website you can join and you can learn from them. Okay, this is all educational. We're doing this to help our brothers and sisters. And anyway, this is going to finish soon. Let's finish it, and then we go back to the book.
All right. So whether that is for or against, practicing polygyny, you can at least do that, or should be able to do that, as an adult who reached the age of discernment. That's my 2 cents with it.
And it's still the man's choice, even if you say, well, I don't feel like you ready. So if I said to you, you're not ready yet. Now I could say that. That doesn't mean he has to believe that. He could still make the choice to practice polygyny. So that's another, that they get a little,
and not be ready in practice.
And not be ready.
And again, that's we heavily against that. A lot of men, just because you want and desire to practice it, doesn't mean that you're qualified to do so. But we go into more details, of course, in the book and some of our different trainings. So there are measurables that are relatively simple and easy to get, and then there are the intangibles. So all of these things matter, but that's a topic of another video.
Yep.
And one of the chapters in the book.
We're going to wrap it up. And we do discuss the book in our OPR campus, in our book club that we hold on Sundays. So we go a little bit deeper there, and you guys can go there at oprcampus.com for details on that. And if you don't have your book yet, visit us at letstalkpolygamy.com and order your book.
All right, y'all. Coach Nadir, to help people get their shift together. With that being said, be outstanding.
Okay, so Jazakallah khair, brother, Coach Nadir and his wife, Coach Fatima, for that. And like I said, give them a like, subscribe, and everything. And I was very happy to have shared this resource with you, and I hope that you benefit from it. Okay. So anyway, let's move back to the book now. The book that we are doing, which is From Monogamy to Polygyny. Okay, we're on page 111. Okay, and we're dealing with something very important, which is dealing with jealousy. Yes, something very important. We cannot tell a sister not to be jealous. Okay, this is we cannot reprimand a sister for being jealous. This is part of her nature. She's jealous, but she needs to know how to handle that jealousy. She needs to know how to deal with that jealousy. Yeah? So the book now is talking about dealing with jealousy. The best advice is the advice of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The best guidance is the guidance of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Thus, it is important to look to his guidance on how to deal with emotions. Present-day psychological advice has permeated the thinking of many people, but if that advice is not in agreement with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has taught us, then it needs to be dropped. Okay, so I hope you understand that. The advice that we're getting from psychology or whatever, if it's not in line, because we deal the polygamy the polygyny that we deal with is according to the Quran and Sunnah, and if it's not what the Prophet ﷺ is teaching, then we need to drop that. Actually, quite a lot of today's psychological advice is very unscientific and more theory than fact. There are many different views of what is the best therapy for any given circumstances. Many times, what is passed off as scientific advice is merely popular advice that is in line with the values of Western culture and is culturally accepted. Yeah. So we can see that what we have is what is culturally accepted. This is the advice that they will give you. But we are giving advice according to the Quran and Sunnah, how to deal with the jealousy. And this is why these people will not be able to follow the polygamy, because they don't follow the Quran and Sunnah. We follow it according to the Quran and Sunnah. So obviously, like, you know, our way of doing it is different. Although, like I showed you a few weeks ago, that the Afro-American community, actually, even the non-Muslims are very big in practicing polygyny, and most of them, as we can see, are actually doing videos about it. They're just like me; they're teaching others. They're actually into it. 2, 3, 4 wives they're taking, kind of thing, like, you know. So it's actually something common among the African American community, and I understood from somebody that it's also common among the Native Americans as well. Yeah. So there we go. It's just us Muslims who are banging our heads against the wall and refusing to accept it. I'm not saying that, like, you know, you should close your eyes and enter into it. No, there's a lot of brothers who are actually abusing the system, but there are a lot of good brothers out there who want to enter in polygyny, but they're meeting sisters who don't want to know. Or either the sister accepts, and then it's, you know, she comes into the family, and then she brings a lot of drama, a lot of issues like this, you know, and this puts people off. Anyway, so we carry on. An example of this is the emphasis on the self in American culture, and this in American psychiatry. Thus, in American psychiatry, psychologist Herb Goldberg writes, as a general rule, put yourself first. For those occasions when you genuinely want to make your wife's needs primary, assume the risk of owning up to who you really are, completely and joyfully. The notion of self-importance and self-gratification is far from the teaching of Islam. Okay, so it's clear that, like, you know, what he's teaching there, put yourself first, you know, that's far from the teachings of Islam. Another culturally accepted idea in psychology today is what is called ventilationist view. Okay, this theory is that it is better to express your emotions instead of bloating them up. So if you are jealous, take it out, kind of thing, like, you know, shout and fight or whatever, instead of bottling up and then keeping up. However, the studies show that quite opposite is true. People tend to feel worse when they release their emotions than when they control them. Okay, so you need to know how to control your emotions rather than, like, you know, bottling up, keeping it inside, kind of thing. Okay. It's better to express your emotion. Better to express your emotion. Cause a drama or whatever, and then make an issue or whatever, than to control them. For example, Dr. Travis writes, the psychological rationales for ventilating anger do not stand up under experimental scrutiny. The weight of the evidence indicates precisely the opposite. Expressing anger makes you angrier, solidifies an angry attitude, and establishes a hostile habit. So in Islam, we are advised to control our anger, and especially in this case, in the case of polygyny, like, you know, we've been going through lessons after lessons about it, and, like, you know, how we should control our anger, not let anger make us make these decisions and everything. Okay. In actuality, this view misses the social content and consequences of anger. If you express your anger and this causes someone to shoot you, then it won't matter that you died ventilating. This is what they're saying. Yeah. This ventilationist view is not Islamic and can cause tension, fights, hurt feelings, destruction of the Islamic brother and sisterhood, and cause Allah to be displeased with us. Okay, so you don't vent your anger because your husband's gone out and got another wife or whatever. So you're going to vent your anger. You're going to fight with him. You're going to fight with her, and cause a drama, take the children and go or whatever and stuff like that. Okay. With the adoption of such a view, we become base creatures, slaves to our emotion. By acting out every feeling, we end up in disobedience. We can end up in disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We did this before when we did female psychology. Okay, how we'll fall into a certain situation, and what is the effect of it? Is it a long-term effect? Is it a short-term effect? And how to control it or whatever. We did that, yeah. So this is what it's talking about now. And then if we don't control it, we can end up in the disobedience of Allah. Okay. Interestingly enough, there is actually a large degree of cultural influence present in emotions. The cause of emotion differ based on what is acceptable or not in a particular culture, and the expression of emotions differ based on what is acceptable as well. So usually culture plays a great role in there. Yeah. And we put culture first before we put Islam, and the Quran and Sunnah. And in certain cultures, certain things are accepted or not accepted or whatever. And we put culture first. In fact, emotions are subject to the laws of learning a similar way that other behaviors are. For example, the people of Kung tribe of Africa very rarely expressed any anger because it would break up their community, in which sharing is very important. They are nomadic. Yeah, they are nomadic. So can you imagine now? Okay, there's a whole tribe who try to control their anger. That is their teaching, to control their anger, because they're a nomadic tribe. They have to be together. Yeah, they have to be together. If they're not together, they will start fighting one another and kill one another or whatever. And they're a nomadic tribe. They travel to different. Maybe in winter they move to a different place. Summer they move to a different place. So they have to have that unity. They have to have that unity and not let anger, express their anger, because it would break up their community. Or a situation that causes great anger in an American person may be perfectly normal to a Japanese person. This is because of what is culturally learned and considered acceptable. Yeah, I understand that. I don't know. They say in Japan you don't ask people how are you. I think, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. Yeah, so it's culturally not accepted, to ask somebody how are you. So that's part of their culture. Okay, so as Muslims, our culture is Islam. Actually, that's wrong. We don't. Our religion is Islam. I don't know. Maybe that's what the sister meant to say. But regardless of what country a Muslim comes from, the value of Islam should ultimately be the determining factors of one's behavior and emotions. There is plenty of psychological advice and in the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ that can be tapped. Okay, so when the advice that the Prophet ﷺ is giving us concerning polygyny, concerning jealousy, concerning how to live our lives and everything, there's plenty of psychological advice that can be extracted from there. Okay. We're on the 1 hour mark now. Okay, just coming to the 1 hour mark. So again, I'm reminding you that you're watching our people of the book, and you're watching all people of the book, and you're also watching. You're watching us on the Consider This TV network, which is our major network that we were on, and we have several channels that are on there. Some are broadcasting a lot, and some of them you might, some of us you might not find us on there. But please subscribe, like, and share, and pass this over to your friends. Like, let them see this, because there's a lot of people who are learning about polygyny who need to know about this. I mean, in the groups that we're in, a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, I've come to learn about polygyny." Okay, I've come to learn. So this is made for those who want to learn, and also. Like I keep repeating, we're living in a world at the moment where there is a lot of fitna. One. Secondly, we're living in a world where marriages are breaking up left, right, and center. Like, for no reason whatsoever. People of divorcing. I actually saw an ad a couple of days ago. One sister, very young sister, was looking to remarry, and she'd only married for 6 months. Can you imagine? 6 months, right? 6 months, and she's already divorced and looking for another guy. So can you imagine, the speed at which marriages are breaking up? So this is, Allah has provided us, because in a lot of cultures, once a woman is married or divorced, people don't want to marry her again. Men don't want to marry her again. Yeah, she's considered second-hand. What do you call it? Second-hand item kind of thing, But Islam doesn't do that. Islam tells you to marry these sisters. Islam tells you Islam tells you the divorcees and the widows to actually take them and marry them. And there's great rewards in marrying the widows and who has orphan children and everything. So we can see the difference between what the West would teach, and we would see what Islam teaches. So anyway, so. Because emotions usually come in groups, advice for dealing with anger or envy is applicable for dealing with jealousy as well. Anger, especially, is a characteristic of a jealous temperament. So learning what the Prophet ﷺ has taught us about dealing with this emotion is necessary in learning to control jealousy. Some hadith of the Prophet ﷺ regarding anger include. Okay, let me scroll to the. Okay, no one has swallowed back anything more excellent in the sight of Allah, who is great and glorious, than the anger he restrains, seeking to please Allah the Most High. Okay, so you're angry and you swallow that anger, you take it back, kind of thing. There's nothing that's more excellent in the sight of Allah than that. Okay, and if anyone suppresses anger when he is in a position to give vent to it, Allah the Exalted will call him on the day of judgment of the day of resurrection over the heads of all creatures. Okay, now this is why it is said, don't give talaq to your wife. There's a hadith that mentions that, in a state of anger. Because in a state of anger, you don't know, I divorce you. Khalas. She's no longer your wife anymore. Out of anger, you've said it, and then you sit down and think, oh, what did I just do? I divorced my wife out of anger. So this is now these two hadith. The first one is from narrated by Abdullah bin Umar and recorded in Jami al-Tirmidhi, hadith number 1324, and the second one is narrated by Mu'adh bin Jabal and recorded in Sunan Abu Dawud, number 2223. Okay, now these hadith show the importance of restraining anger angry outbursts and controlling one's anger. Controlling or suppressing anger here does not mean letting the anger dwell in one's heart. Developing hatred for the individual who was subject to the anger. Rather, the angry behavior should be suppressed and the heart should be relieved relieved of the anger or resentment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions one of the descriptions of the believers, that when they are angry, they forgive. Okay, so and this is in Surah Al-Shura, number 42, Surah number 42, verse 37. Okay. And then the Prophet ﷺ has taught them by means of controlling anger. He said, when one of you becomes angry while standing, he should sit down. If the anger leaves him, well and good. Otherwise, he should lie down. See the advice of the Prophet ﷺ. So you can see psychologically, there's a lot of things that in psychology that from the Prophet ﷺ. Also, two men reviled each other in the presence of the Prophet ﷺ. One of them became excessively angry, so much so that I thought that his nose would break on the account of excess anger. The Prophet ﷺ said, I know a phrase which he repeated if he got rid of his anger feeling. They said, what is it, Messenger of Allah? He replied, he should say, I seek refuge in you from the accursed devil. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Okay, this is what he should say when he's angry. Okay, Muad then began to ask him to do so, but he refused and persisted in quarreling and began to enhance his anger. Okay, so that hadith can be found, narrated by Muad bin Jabal and recorded in Abu Dawood, number 2225. Okay, we'll go through this. Let me see. Okay, I think it goes a bit longer than that, but we'll see what if it takes us another 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes or whatever, and we'll finish there. Anxiety is another emotion connected to jealousy. Sheikh al-Munajjid gives the following advice for a person suffering from anxiety. He needs to increase his faith and his trust in his Lord. He needs to make more dua and pray more. If he does not do that, his anxiety, if he does do that, his anxiety will be removed. Seeking to relax by means of doing acts of worship has great effect on the soul, dispelling many kinds of psychological disease. As well, Sheikh Imam Ibn al-Qayyim said, when a person spends his entire day with no other concern but Allah alone, Allah the glorified will take all of his needs and care of all that is worrying him. He will empty his heart and fill it only. He will empty his heart so that it will be filled with only the love for him. Free his tongue so that it will speak only the remembrance of Allah, dhikr, and cause all faculties to work only in the obedience of Allah. But if a person spends his entire day with no other concern but this world, Allah will make him bear its distress and anxiety and pain. He will leave him to sort himself out and cause his heart to be distracted from the love of Allah towards the love of some created being. Cause his tongue to speak only in remembering Allah instead of remembering. Cause his heart to speak in remembering people instead of remembering Allah, and cause him to use his talents and energy in obeying and serving them. Okay, this is from Sheikh Ibn al-Qayyim, which is reference from Islam.qa, question reference 217677. Okay. This is supported by a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, who said, whoever is mainly concerned about the hereafter, Allah will make him independent of others, and will make him focused on and content on his worldly affairs, and his worldly affairs will fall into place. But whoever is mainly concerned with this world, Allah will make him in constant need of others, and will make him distracted and unfocused, and will give him nothing of this world, what is decreed for him. It is related also that Hudayfa radiallahu anh said, when anything distressed him, the Prophet ﷺ used to pray. Okay, so should we finish here on this page, or should we carry on? It's 1:10. We can carry on another maybe 15 minutes and 10 minutes maybe, and finish this page. There's another page left. This is explained by Sheikh Hussein al-Awayisha. Sheikh Hussein al-Awayisha. This is the true prayer by means of which a servant turns for refuge to and to help Allah, the Most High, from sorrows, and help to Allah. Well, what am I saying? Yeah, that's why I was finding it strange. I was repeating it. Yeah. This is a true prayer by means of which the servant turns for refuge and help to Allah, the Most High, from all sorrows, distress, grief, and anxiety. He then feels consolation that he's aided by Allah, the Most High, the Lord of the heavens and the earth. This assists him to proceed successfully in life and gain the pleasure of Allah, with one free and far removed from all imperfections, and the Most High, and wins the paradise whose width is like heavens and the earths. Okay, so if he trusts in Allah, he puts all his trust in Allah, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will remove all the imperfections from him, and Allah will give him paradise, which is the distance. The width is the distance of the heavens and the earths. So indeed, the practice of all prophets to complain only to Allah, as we see in the Quran. Prophet Yaqub said, "I only complain of my grief and sorrow to Allah." Therefore, in dealing with the distress due to jealousy, one should turn to Allah for relief. Other hadith that guide us in this dealing with emotions include: avoid envy, for envy desires good deeds, just as fire devours he said grass, devours fuel, or he said grass. Next hadith: do not be angry with each other, do not envy each other, and do not turn away from each other, and be slaves of Allah. Brothers, it is not halal for a Muslim to shun his brother for more than three nights. We know that we shouldn't be angry against our brother. The first one to ask for to apologize, he will be highly rewarded by Allah. There are people from the servants of Allah who are neither prophets nor martyrs. The Prophet ﷺ and martyrs will envy them. The prophets, not the Prophet ﷺ. There are people from the servants of Allah who are neither prophets nor martyrs. The prophets and martyrs will envy them on the day of resurrection, for their ranks from Allah. For their ranks from Allah. the Most High. They, the people, asked, "Tell us, O Messenger of Allah, who are they?" He replied, "They are the people who love one another for the sake of for the spirit of Allah, without having any mutual kinship or any given property, or giving property to one. I swear by Allah, their faces will glow, and they will be sitting in the in pulpits of light. They will have no fear on the day when people will have fear. They will not grieve when people will grieve." He then recited the following Quranic verse: "Behold, verily, for the friend of Allah there is no fear, nor shall they grieve." Okay, and that verse is from no, it's this is relating to the hadith. The hadith is narrated by Ibn Umar. By Umar bin Khattab, and recorded in Sunan Abu Dawud. "Beware of suspicion, for suspicion is the worst of false tales, and do not look at others' faults. Do not spy, and do not be jealous of one another, and do not desert. Do not desert out of Do not desert out your relationship with one another, and do not hate one another, and O Allah's worshipped, be brothers. O Allah's worshippers, O Allah's worshippers, be brothers as Allah has ordered you. Don't feel any envy towards one another. Don't outbid one another in order to raise the price." This is a very important hadith. I think we did that one time in the trade transactions. In trade transactions, do not bid any. Do not outbid another brother in order to raise the price. Don't bear enmity against one another. Don't sever relations of kinship. Don't enter into a transaction when others have already entered into that. And be as brothers to one another and servants to Allah. As a Muslim is the brother of a Muslim. He neither oppresses him, nor forsakes him, nor humiliates him. The piety is here. And while saying, he pointed to the chest, to the heart. The piety is there. Okay. None among you will be a true believer until he wants for his brother Muslim what he wants for himself. We talked about that hadith last week, I think, or the week before, when we watched Sheikh what's his name? His name not crossed my mind now. Khalid Yassin, sorry. Sometimes I just forget like this while I'm thinking of something else. Sheikh Khalid Yassin, when he mentioned the hadith that no one will be a true believer until he wants for himself he wants for his brother what he wants for himself. So he applied that to the sisters. Okay. A sister a sister is not a true believer until she wants for her brother Muslim what she wants for herself. Her sister Muslim, but until she wants her sister Muslima what she wants for herself, which is another husband, which is happiness, which is like whatever it brings with it. Anyway, so we learned here today. 118 we learned here, and we'll take on page 119 next week, and we'll start with the hadith. There has come to you a disease of the nations before you, jealousy and hatred. So we'll start with that next week, and on page 119, and I suppose we will finish here. And I hope you've benefited from this. This is my intention, so that my brothers and sisters can benefit. And whatever I'm doing, I'm a student of knowledge. I'm not a scholar. So like I'm doing to help my brothers and sisters. If I've said anything wrong, please forgive me. And it is from me. And if there's anything good that you got from it, it comes from Allah. Okay, and inshallah will see you next week, and we'll start from page 119 and that hadith. So subhana rabbika bil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun al mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.